It was a low turnout today at the University of Belize Conference Center, where the government was hosting the second public consultation to discuss the widely debated 13th Amendment Bill. It's a chance for members of the public to come forward and raise their questions and concerns before the bill makes its way into the Constitution. Despite the lack of attendees at both consultations, Henry Charles Usher, chairman of the People's United Party, was optimistic that they would be a success.
I think that it's important that we hear the public's views. As I mentioned this morning, and the leader of the opposition mentioned, this is not the only way in which the public can submit their recommendations or their criticisms, questions on this particular bill. They can do so in person at these public consultations, in writing to the National Assembly, or by email also to the National Assembly. So maybe some persons would prefer to do it that way.
The recent presentation clarified a key point about the proposed amendment. Officials say it won't give police the power to arrest without reasonable suspicion. In fact, anyone detained would still have the right to a tribunal review to determine if they should remain in custody. But not everyone sold on the idea. Glenn Myvitt, a concerned citizen, says the language is still too vague, and that ambiguity has him worried.
We have a police department that is full of hubris and very petty. Reasonable suspicion to them may be depending on where you live, the color of your skin, the clothes you're wearing, just as a few examples.
Why did you decide to come to the consultation and share your concerns?
Because I'm a Belizean by birth and I'm a very concerned citizen, and I know this will impact those who are less marginalized.
The tribunal would consist of representatives selected by the Chief Justice and the Governor General, who will hear the police department's claim of reasonable suspicion for the arrest. Usher says that this is not a new piece of legislation.
Well, I think it's important, yes, and that question was raised in terms of what does reasonable suspicion mean. I think the representative from the Attorney General's Ministry, Consul Shepard, explained that reasonable suspicion is a legal term. It is something that has been fleshed out in a number of cases. So you can look at case law. You can also look at different legislations around the world that really speak on the matter of reasonable suspicion. So I think it's something that, like one of the last suggestions from an attorney, was that we put in the bill itself the criteria that defines reasonable suspicion. Is something that certainly we can look at, but there is a body of law out there that speaks on this particular matter.
Another resident voiced her concerns with the bill. She explains that while she does not oppose the use of states of emergency, she does not see why it must be written into the Constitution.
I understand the reason for the SOE. I am not entirely comfortable with how it operates, but I understand the reason for it. What I still don't fully understand is why the need to change the Constitution. I think that's a bridge too far.
Following the consultation, several attendees stated that their research into the bill will continue. Usher explains that the government will be compiling all suggestions and concerns for review before the matter is decided.
Well, I think that there have been very good suggestions in terms of maybe supporting parts of the bill, but also amending other parts of the bill. We heard from persons who coming from a human rights perspective. We heard from persons speaking from their legal training, being attorneys at law or having training in other fields. I think what is important is that we put all of these recommendations and suggestions together and we take it back to the House Committee, and of course when the bill is brought up for second reading, a report will be submitted to the House of Representatives before that second reading and that debate is done.
At this time, the government has no concrete plans for another consultation. However, further suggestions can be emailed to the government for review. Britney Gordon for News 5.